All right, good afternoon once again. We're back for another Google Hangout, and this time around, it is to ask the question or find answers to the question: what should Buhari tackle first? Buhari, Mohammed Buhari, is Nigeria's new president, inaugurated this morning. Well, ceremony ended a few minutes ago, and we're trying to find out what Nigerians are demanding, or what Nigerians expect of this government. That is the question we're asking. What should Buhari tackle first? On the Hangout, I have a couple of people who are ready to air their views, and I'll just go right ahead and start with you, Yinka. You joined first,
All right.
and I would want to know what you expect the new president to tackle first.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mayowa. First of all, I really want to say congratulations to all Nigerians. It's really been a very long time we have this kind of relief, and I believe it is high time everybody puts hand on deck to actually work. For Buhari, first of all, I know that he's a man that is full of discipline. He's a man of his own word. And one of the things I would like Buhari to first tackle is the issue of our constitution. If you look at the Nigerian constitution, it's a bit not in the proper way. There's a lot of things that needs to be looked into. I read it like 2, 3 times, and at times I've really been surprised. Why should we have this kind of constitution that allows a lot of things that should not actually be? Most of the developed world, they have a constitution that make things work for the organized for the country. So the first thing you should look into is the constitution, because it really needs to do an excellent work. Don't forget that we have three arms of government. We have the federal, we have the state, and also the Senate. And if Buhari needs to do a lot of things, most of the time we will first need to get approval from the Senate, and the Senate will always still go back to the Constitution. So there's still a lot of things that need to be looked. One of the things that the Constitution state is this issue of amnesty for those that are in government. If you commit any crime, well, you won't be able to be picked because, of course, you are a public order. Such things, I believe, should be a bit stepped down. There are a lot of things in the Constitution. I think we need to look into our Constitution, first of all. And the second thing, which is a really major virus in our environment, and that is the issue of corruption. That one is a major problem that needs to be tackled. In fact, it very needs to be a success in this administration. It really needs to tackle corruption from the top. And I was so happy when I first heard what the governor I mean, that is Herify, did this morning quickly said that he and his deputy will have a 50 cut of their salary, which is quite good, but there's still a lot. This virus called corruption has really eaten deep into the various aspects. And when we talk about corruption, it's just not about just picking people up and throwing people into the prison. There has to be what is called a mechanism. There has to be what is called a kind of a protocol that will make things work very well. I would, for me, if I'm the president, the first thing I would do, and I would advise Barry, is that our constitution needs to be looked into critically, and also the issue of corruption. It has to start from the top. The leader must first feel it, then it will cascade down. If it's really serious about making Nigeria to change, then things need to work out very well. I would like others to talk also, so that I still have a lot of things to say.
All right, thank you very much, Yinka. Tolulokwe, what would you like the president to tackle first?
Before, I think this day marks a great day in history for Nigeria. And I say congratulations to all Nigerians. This is the first time I think I'm aware that there's someone that's had a craving to lead who's getting into power. So I think there's determination for him. So I think first thing I think he should tackle is the issue of the power sector. the power sector and everything around it, because I feel my view is when that is settled, a lot of other things will fall into place. I take for instance, if the power sector is fixed, there will be job creation, there will be more of better life for people. Life expectancy will increase. There will be more happiness. Invariably, a lot of other institutions and corporate social responsibility will improve. So I think power should be addressed. Should be the first thing that you will address. This is interesting because for me today I'm at work and I'm having a good time and a good feeling on a good day. When on a public holiday you're at work, you don't feel this happy, but today I feel joyous. And then this little break we're having, I'm using it to talk and have a have a discussion on Nigeria. So power first, corruption second, and thirdly, insecurity. So that's my take. So I'll allow others to talk.
Thank you very much, Tolu. Thank you. All right, so Mr. Chris, let's move over to you. What would you like the new president to tackle first?
Has been sort of brought down, because 3-4 years ago, you will never believe this day would come. So first of all, congratulations to all Nigerians everywhere in the world, wherever you're hearing us from, and to Nigerians living in Nigeria also. I say very big congratulations to you, because you've weathered the storm the past 16 years of democratic involvement. I've not been privileged to be there the past 16 years, but I'm always in and out of Nigeria virtually every month. That out of the way, the next thing you have to really look at is the part of the economy itself. I mean, there's been this issue about Nigeria economy, how much we've progressed and how far we've come. Honestly, there is no need for us to keep running around figures. I think the government needs to look at the economy as it affects an average Nigerian. We talk about things like power, we talk about things like transportation and all that. For me, the first and most important thing that the president needs to be looking at is a system that works. We need to get to the level in Nigeria where whatever system we have is consistent with what we call an acceptable standard of living. So if you're talking about power, for example, there should be a system in place where we pay for the resources we get. The reason why things like power, transport, and all that stuff don't work in our part of the world is basically because we want something for free. We as Nigerians must also bear our responsibilities and say, look, we're ready to pay for a system that works. And that's the first responsibility of a proper government, putting in place a methodology where things work. And if the government decides to set a standard and say, this is what we're going to run with, I'm not going to sit down and watch corruption. I'm not going to sit down and watch things that will not, that will just benefit myself and my tribe. As far as you sit down and set these standards in place, you discover that other Nigerians will automatically fall in place. I mean, we all have places where we work. I'll give an example of the Nigerians I'm looking at. Everyone I'm looking at on this hangout seem intelligent, articulate, but also they bear a reflection of the culture of the place they work. So, for example, if you work in a place where you know you get there at 8 o'clock and your managing director will not accept you getting 2 minutes late, you know the culture of the place. So if he wants to do anything, the culture of what we call Nigeria today needs to change. That is the beginning, that's the basis of anything. If you come into the United Kingdom, for example, there's a culture here, a culture of things work. You just know it works. I'm sorry, it needs to work. And congratulations again. I will let other people come in. But congratulations to everyone. It's not a day to be sad about this country. It's a day to be proud. I am proud to be a Nigerian. I'll let other people just have a quick chatting.
Thank you very much, Chris. So we have new callers who we've not been able to, know or know their names or anything. So I'll start with Solomon Caleb. Please do introduce yourself. Tell us where you're calling from. Do give me your Twitter handle if you have one. So Twitter handle is Solomon Caleb. Okay, great. So just dive right into it. What would you like the president to tackle first? Please hold on a second. Hi everyone. Please let's just. I gave out these tips when we started. I think I need to do that again. I do understand that we all joined at different times. So, because I just heard someone complain that they joined first. Everyone will have their say. I can assure you that. But I will be the one to decide who speaks at what time. If you do have anything to say, however, please just you can raise up your hand or nod your head. I'm going to see you. So just indicate non-verbally that you would like to say something. But everyone will have their say. One other thing is please do maintain absolute silence as much as possible so that when someone is speaking, we can hear them and you do not interrupt. Okay? Thank you everyone for understanding. I assure you once again that everyone will have their say. All right, thank you. Please go ahead, Mr. Solomon. Thank you very much for your contribution. So now let me take Mustafa. Before you go on, I need to confirm that everyone else. Sorry, hold on, Mustafa. Before you continue, I'd like to confirm that everyone can hear you. Okay, so I'm going to ask Akachuku now if he can hear you. Akachuku, can you hear Mustafa?
If he does speak now, I will be able to know if I can hear him, if he can speak now.
Okay, Mustafa, can you please say something?
I can hear him.
Okay, awesome. The reason why I did that was because the other hangar we had technical issues. We lost audio from some of our contributors, so I just need to make sure that that doesn't happen again. All right, Mustafa, floor is yours. Mustafa, please go on. All right, thank you. Last but not least, Adeleke. Hello. Yes, Adeleke, please go ahead. Sorry, Adeleke. Okay, go ahead, go ahead. Go, you can go ahead. Since you want to. Thank you very much, Adeleke. I must say that I have enjoyed your contribution thus far. Very quickly, where in India are you calling from? All right. Please do me a favor of just dropping that in the chat box as well as your Twitter handle if you have one. I think Adelik, we've taken the first round. We've asked the question, what should Buhari tackle first? And now the next question will be, what policies do we want to see come in and what policies do we want to see kicked out, if there are any? Akachuku, oh yeah, sorry. I haven't taken you. So sorry about that. So I will just do that, and then you can just start the conversation about what policies should stay or which ones should go.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me clearly? Right. I will start by congratulating all Nigerians with the change of leadership that we witnessed a couple of hours ago. It's unprecedented, and I think it's a new dawn for Nigeria. Quickly, if we go through his Mr. President's speech, we could find that he is interested in pushing power reforms, that is electricity, and the oil and gas sector as well, to make sure we stop having fuel shortages. Unfortunately, the last couple of days, Nigeria witnessed what is regarded as a paradox. The country nearly shut down because of the fuel crisis, and we never had our generating plants generating up to what we need. And that was the very first time Nigeria experienced its lowest output, 1,200 and something. I may not be exact. I think it has to pursue immediately the full deregulation of the downstream sector, say that the petroleum industry bill is passed, and those two key areas will boost Nigeria's electricity generation. Our refineries will get back running. That will immediately help in diversifying Nigeria's economy, generating lots of jobs, and that's a good way to start. And once you do that, you'll find the security challenge that we have in the country taking care of itself. Of course, corruption, like he has always mentioned. Hello?
Please go ahead. I can hear you.
Corruption, like he also mentioned, is a key thing he's interested in, which everybody is aware of. I think
Hello, Akachukwu, are you still there? All right, we may have to come back to
I think we've
Akachukwu.
lost him.
Yes, we may have to come back to him. Still on policies, which ones to keep, which ones to let go? I'm back to you, Solomon.
Oh, sorry. Can you come again, please?
All right, so we're talking about which policies to keep and which to ditch, if I may say so. Are there any policies you would like to see kept or ditched? Hello? Hello? Okay, I can't seem to hear you. Can everyone else hear Solomon? Because I can't seem to hear him.
No.
Okay, so we'll come back to Solomon again. Adeyinka, over to you.
Congratulations to all Nigerians. There's this joy and this wonderful smile that is just inside me. All right, quickly to the policies. First of all, I know that there are a few policies that is actually running right now in Nigeria. I know about the new automotive policy. I know about the new fiscal policy measure on rice, import quota for fish. There's cashless policy rollout across Nigeria. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, I know there's devaluation of naira and also introduction of the ATM charges, increase in card reservation. All these policies are quite very good. But if I would advise the president right now, I would say that he should look into number one, the increase in the cash reserve ratio for the banks. Earlier in this year, the cash reserve for the public sector in banks was increased from 50% to 75%. I work in one of the top financial institutions in Nigeria, and I actually follow all these. The ratio has been increased from 12% to 50% only last year. I believe the federal government should look into this policy. There's a lot that can be reformed. Is that probably this policy is being taken out, or probably they should look into it more critically? Also, one of the policies that the federal government introduced early this year was the reintroduction of the ATM charges. Just in September, the new CBN governor, Emefiele, announced the introduction of the ATM charges, and he was saying that's like 65% charges for each transaction. Well, it's quite good. I understand, but do we actually need right now? I believe the president-elect should look into this. Of course, the CBN said that there is a fee that will be reintroduced to cover a lot of regulations such as the switches, ATM monitoring, and a lot of things. But I believe that the financial institution still have other ways in which they can actually cover this. Also, there's this policy. Anytime I read about it, I'm always just laughing. The new automotive policy. When I read about this policy, the federal government introduced it early, like July. I think it's July last year, 2014. and the policy was just to gear in stimulating the local manufacturing and the assembly of cars in order to attract investments into Nigeria and other things. So far, so good. After the inauguration of this policy, nothing has really been done, and a lot of money has been pumped into this sector. I believe the president should look also into this policy. And the last one is the fiscal policy on the measure of rice. Of course, the outgoing Minister for Agriculture, who just became the president of it, DBN, did very well and talks about this policy. I'm not sure probably we need this policy right now. There are still other policies that the federal government can actually look into. But as I've said, the president should please, if possible, look into, of course, as I've said, the policy they talk about, the introduction of ATM charges. I'm not sure Nigeria need that right now. The cash reserve ratio in the bank. Of course, there's something called the devaluation of Naira. Also, this can be looked into. There's so many policies, but I believe God will help him. I would like others to also talk so that I won't take the whole day.
Thank you very much. So now I'm coming to you, to Lokwe. Are there any policies? Now let me bring some policies. Yes, I can hear you. There's some policies that have been, in the news recently, and there've been appeals for those policies not to be scrapped. For instance, the Shopee policy, as well as the UWIN project. So what is your take on this? What do you think of those projects? Should they be kept?
Yeah, yeah, we can.
I can hear you. Go
We
on.
can.
Yeah, we
I can. We can hear you. Go on. Thank you very much, Mr. Chris. I'm back to you. Are there any policies, projects?
Personally, I mean, I know most of the policies that the lads have talked about were individual policies as it affects the lives of Nigerians, which is quite audible. I mean, it's quite encouraging to hear people that articulate. But for us, I speak not just for myself, but for quite a lot of people that live outside the country. The biggest issue you've got within policies and procedures in Nigeria is just the government. You've got a government system that is just down too large. I'm sorry, the system as we run it today cannot sustain itself. The amount of people in government is the largest, for me personally, is the biggest business in Nigeria. The federal institution is the biggest business in Nigeria. The central arm is just too large. Some of the parastatals in government I work in government, and we laugh. Honestly, I sit in meetings, and I'm privileged to be in one or two top class meetings in United Kingdom where people talk about Nigeria, and you just cringe because the entire system is bloated. You've got silly government ministers, you've got offices that don't do nothing, you've got places that people are just being paid to do nothing. So the first thing you need to be looking at if I'm the president, forget policies first, is to look at the structure in place. The structure as it stands today cannot run itself. From the Senate to the House of Legislative to the central government. I mean, nothing stops presidency from saying we're going to cut whatever we've got today into half. If, for example, I'll give you an example, £1 million is used in running Asarok, if he sits down and says, we won't have this, we're going to have half the same amount of money, produce the same level of efficiency, get things done properly, but quite a lot of people will be kicked out and be made to know that the season of handouts is over. Where is job for the boys? That's gone. Once you begin to do that, people will sit up. There are people that feel they've got responsibilities, or they've got people that have supported this government, for example, feel there is a payback time. They would have to be appointed in government. No, sorry, you don't need 36 power status to run what 10 people can do. So some measures need to take place. And I think for Nigerians that live in Nigeria, they know better than me on this matter, because you must weep when you see, you drive on the roads of Lagos, for example, you've got last week, everybody being duplicated, arresting one person. And I do laugh. I said, do you really need this amount of people to do stuff? So those are things that we really need to be looking at. Cut down on the bureaucracy. Just cut down on the amount of people that run government and let people produce stuff. What's other people's view on this one? I'll shut up.
All right, thank you, gentlemen. As we wrap up this conversation, I'd like to give each and everyone the opportunity to probably give their last words concerning what they expect to see in the next 4 years. We know that Nigeria cannot be fixed, so to speak, within just 4 years. You know, it's always a process. There's always, you need time. But within the next 4 years, within reason, what do you expect to see change in this country? I'll start with you, Adeleke. Thank you very much, Adeleke. Yinka, we're now on to you. In a few words, what are the key things you want to see within the next 4 years?
All right, okay. The next 4 years is quite a lot of time to come. But, well, others have really spoken very well. First of all, I would like to say that, as people have talked today, electricity is quite very important for us. Without that, a lot of things will be totally down. Transportation system, our roads are nothing to write about. In fact, we have the high record accident yearly. If you look at it, we need a better transportation system to have a better Nigeria. Of course, there's water system. There's a lot of transition scheme they can actually look into that will actually help us. The third thing I will talk about is security. It is very, very, very important that we have good security in Nigeria. Nigeria has been added to high-risk country due to the low level of security all over the world, thereby reducing the external or probably the foreign investors to even come in to do business with us. Another thing that I expect to see is I've talked about transportation, good road. Our roads are quite very bad. Accident occurs on a daily basis. Education. Oh, that is one aspect that is totally dead right now. Nigerian educational system used to be one of the best in the world, but now due to negligence, due to lack of adequate management, our system is really rated low. Every year, there's record of numbers of Nigerians going abroad to have education, and when we can actually provide a very good and standard education here also. Our health system, I expect the turnaround system. Accommodation, a lot of people are still outside there. I mean, they don't have places to stay. It is something the government needs to look into. Employment, we have a lot of unemployment all around, a lot of unemployed graduates in our streets. Some have been so frustrated and gone into serious evil acts, killing, armed robbery, rituals, a lot of things. All these need to be looked into. And lastly, I would say good governance. Good governance. For all of the above that I've just mentioned, without good governance, nothing can be done. There has to be justice. Justice need to be put into our system, and it has to be properly implemented. Without this, a lot of things won't be done. And finally, let me say that there has to be punishment for every crime that is being committed. I'm not saying they should kill people, but let there be a place of, if you do this kind of thing, this is what you see. And I believe there's a lot of things that has been expected of this government. I told one of my colleagues, I said, from today onward, I will be back again on my social media. All those things the president-elect told us that he's going to do, from today on, I will start to put it on social media. We'll start to mark the record. And I'm waiting. Another 4 years is coming. If things didn't change, we're back to it again. God bless Nigeria, and I believe it is our time, and God will help us.
All right, thank you so much. Now, before I move on to other people, so that we do not have people repeating a lot of things, Yinka already mentioned something that I would like us to look at going forward, which is good governance. As other people make their final statements on this hangout, I'd like you to focus on the importance of putting round square pegs in the right holes. You know, the importance of having the right people in the right positions, and also see if you would support that we have more technocrats in government, or just have more people appointed into positions. So over to you now, Akachuko.
Thank you. That question is in some schools of thought. There are debates as well as to which amongst the two are most effective in administrative, political administrative positions. Is it the technocrat, or is it the politician? Well, sometimes it could be difficult for technocrats to balance the politics, and that's why most times you would see technocrats not pursuing or having the capacity to implement policies because of too much technocracy of of what they do. But then I think getting technocrats that understands Nigeria's challenges from the different perspectives, I mean multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary perspectives, because sometimes when we talk about the problem with the Nigerian electricity sector, I don't understand when you hear the Minister of Power, for instance, talking about vandalism and some other things that I think they should have planned out when they are implementing reform. These things come up because you have very technocratic team that do not understand other facets that do take place before you have such a transition that we are seeking in Nigeria. So I'm looking forward for the government to engage people that understand Nigeria's problem, not just from a technology side of it, but from social, cultural, economic, religious challenges that Nigeria do face. Because if we tackle it, if we tend to tackle it from a particular angle, from a particular perspective, we won't be able to make any headway.
Thank you very much, Akachuku. Mustafa, if you would please make your contribution as concise as possible. Thank you very much, Mustafa. Thank you so much. Henry George joined the hangout rather late, but we will allow you say a few words.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Henry George.
Yes, I'm with you. You can hear me? Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Thank you for joining the
Yes,
hangout.
we can.
And
Yeah.
where are you
Actually,
calling from?
I'm calling from Aja, Lagos.
Henry George, I can't seem to hear you.
I'm calling from Aja, Lagos.
Can anyone else hear Henry?
Yes, we can.
I can hear him.
Okay, I can't seem to hear Henry. I
Aja,
don't know why that is.
I mean
He
Aja
says he's
Henry.
calling from Aja in Lagos.
Yes.
Okay. Um, okay, here's what we're going to do. Let's take everyone else. Perhaps when we come back,
All right.
audio will be sorted. So you just try to, fix it. I don't know how else. Henry, can you say something again just in case I can hear you? Same situation.
Yes, I'm saying something. You can't hear me?
Sadly, I
Okay.
can't. Okay, Henry, well, here's what's going to happen. I'll take everyone else. So perhaps just log off the Hangout and try to join in again. Hopefully, you can do that within a few seconds before I take everyone else. Mr. Solomon, very quickly, we are out of time, but we do have to get everyone's last remarks on Hangout. What would you like to see happen within the next 4 years? Mr. Solomon. Come again? Okay. Okay. So let's move on to Tolu now.
Okay. Everyone has practically said a lot, but let me just put it in summary. I need good governance. I need more of accountability, transparency, respect for rule of law, and above all, I need a government that does not continue in the lines of the divides of religion and ethnicity. That's my parting words for the administration and my expectation.
Thank you very much for giving us the shortest last remarks on the Hangout. Mrs. Solomon, I'm back to you now. And please do try to make your contribution as short as possible. But I want you to put this in the mix. A lot of people have called for the probe of the outgone government, and the outgone government has said, don't just single me out for probe. You have to prove everybody. So the question is, how far back, in the first place, should this government probe? And if it should probe, where should it start? Mr. Solomon.
Thank you very much. I don't think this is to be proved because it will amount to waste of time. And again, it is on record that every government from the regime of Obasanjo, right from the military era, till date, they've been alleged for one corruption and the other. If a probe is to be instituted, it should cut across every government from 1976 till date. However, I would advise President Muhammadu Buhari not to bother probing any past government. Rather, he should focus on what's on the good lies ahead of Nigeria. We should look at where things have to be done urgently. The security should be a priority. Economic development should be a priority. Employment generation should be a priority. All these have to move in place. I do not believe the government putting past government to be a waste of time, waste of our resources, the resources that should have been channeled towards generating employment for Nigerians. I think it's high time it should be more focused. Like you said today, I think it should go in line with the manifesto of the party. Above all, it should be accountable to Nigerians, not to anybody. Unlike what we used to see in the past, where the president will be accountable to a few people who had held us to ransom for a long time. For now, I think the president should be accountable to Nigeria and to God Almighty. These are what I think he should do. And secondly, in the next 4 years, I want to see Nigeria free of corruption. Transparency should be our utmost agenda. We should look at where things to be done transparently, where there's no nepotism, where there's no favoritism, and should there be any, it should be at 10%. These are things I'm looking out for. And again, Nigerians with high time, we need to start enjoying what we pay for. If I'm paying for electricity, I should have the electricity. If I'm paying for any network service provider, I should have it at full. And if there are areas I need to complain, my complaint should be welcome and it should be looked into. And again, rule of law should cut across everybody. Everybody, not just for single people, not just for just individuals. The courts or the judiciary should be giving a free hand to operate. They should be giving free hand to operate. We should look at where we've gotten it wrong, and those areas to be amended. Things should be done properly. And again, this is our utmost work for. We should be disciplined. It's not just the president alone. Even we Nigerians should be disciplined. We should look at ourselves and do things right. These are the things I expect to see in the next project. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I'm back to you now, Henry. I hope audio is sorted.
Yes, my audio is sorted. Congratulations once again to Muhammadu Buhari.
I still cannot hear Henry.
Oh shit.
All right,
Okay.
Henry, let's just do this. Please do drop your comments, your contributions in the chat box. That way, people can interact with you and discuss.
All
And
right.
perhaps I can take one or two comments from whatever you put out. We have Mr. Chris.
Thanks.
Mr. Chris, I know that okay, I know I already took a comment from you, but do you have anything to add to what Mr. Solomon said about the probe? Obagoriola, thank you for joining. Although we're already wrapping up this hangout. Can you hear me?
Hello, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much.
The audio is really bad.
In a few words, can you tell me how you feel about today's event?
Yes, about?
Obagoriola,
Yeah.
in a few words, please tell me how you feel about today's event.
I didn't get you. Things I feel about what?
In a few words, how do you feel about today's event?
Oh, today's event has been a new dawn. It has been my way to see a new Nigeria, a certain pace, and I hope General Buhari is going to lead Nigeria, or is going to set the pace for a better and a futuristic Nigeria that we all dream about. So I'm very delighted, very happy, and very hopeful for a good Nigeria.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. I see that we're already interacting in the chat box. That is very good. So, but for people watching the Hangout live, this is how far we can go. Thank you so much for joining.
Okay.
It's been a pleasure. Of course, we wish ourselves, Nigerians, we wish Nigeria the best, and we wish President Muhammad Buhari and his team the best. We hope for a better Nigeria. And yeah, like I was saying, God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm Maya Wabudele. Thank you for watching.
Bye. Thank you
Thank you.
very